Luis Diaz makes new claim about Liverpool exit. I decided. Luis Diaz has admitted he held talks with Barcelona prior to joining Bayern Munich from Liverpool. Former Liverpool star Luis Diaz is interviewed after helping Bayern Munich beat Chelsea. Luis Diaz has admitted he held transfer talks with Barcelona prior to leaving Liverpool this summer. The Colombian, who helped fire the Reds to the Premier League title last season, joined Bayern Munich in a deal worth up to £65.5 million and has enjoyed an explosive start to life in Germany. He scored the winner on his debut for the Bavarians as they beat VfB Stuttgart to win the Franz Beckenbauer Super Cup. The forward then followed that up with a goal and 2 assists on his Bundesliga debut against RB Leipzig, while he now has 4 goals and 2 assists from his first 6 outings for Bayern. Diaz had wanted to leave Liverpool last summer, with Man City reportedly his destination of choice. While they are said to have proposed a swap deal for Julian Alvarez, their title rivals rejected the suggestion, prompting the Reds to shut down the possibility of the forward moving to the Etihad. Going on to return 17 goals and 5 assists for Liverpool to help Arne Slot's side win the Premier League title, Diaz again pushed to leave this summer after failing to agree a new contract with the Reds. A boyhood Barcelona fan, he has regularly been linked with the Catalans in recent years, and the Spanish Giants even had an approach rejected by Liverpool back in June. But despite their interest, Barca failed to make a renewed bid for Diaz, leaving the pathway open for Bayern Munich to sign him, as they moved for Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford on loan instead. Diaz has now admitted that he did hold talks with Barcelona and a number of other clubs. But despite his childhood allegiances to the Catalans, he has no regrets about signing for Bayern instead. Alexander Isak sends heartfelt message after Liverpool debut. Alexander Isak made his Liverpool debut against Atletico Madrid on Wednesday night. Alexander Isak has sent a heartfelt message to Liverpool supporters after making his debut for the club. The striker joined the Reds in a club record £125 million move from Newcastle United on transfer deadline day after a lengthy summer saga. The Sweden international had effectively gone on strike at St. James Park in a bid to force an exit, skipping the Magpies' pre-season tour of the Far East before continuing to train alone away from his teammates following their return to Tyneside. He was belatedly granted his desired move to Anfield on deadline day, and made his first appearance of any kind since the final day of last season when handed an 18-minute substitute outing against Kosovo for Sweden during the international break. Liverpool are managing the striker carefully following a disjointed pre-season, with Arne Slot taking the decision to leave Isak out of his matchday squad for last weekend's trip to Burnley. Such a stance was with one eye on the Reds' clash with Atletico Madrid, with Slot also admitting that he expected Isak to be fit to feature for at least 45 minutes against the La Liga outfit. Sure enough, the 25-year-old was selected to start against the Spanish outfit and completed 58 minutes during an encouraging debut performance. Meanwhile, he received the loudest of receptions from supporters, both as his name was read out ahead of kickoff and when replaced shortly before the hour mark. Taking to Instagram after the match, Isak paid tribute to the Liverpool fanbase as he shared his delight at making his long-awaited debut for the Reds. "Amazing night to make my debut," he wrote. "Thank you for the warm welcome, Reds. YNWA. I was positively surprised by how fit he was during that 60 minutes, he said at his post-match press conference. But that probably, tells you that it might be a difference to sign a 20-year-old from a different league or a 25 or 26-year-old that is used to playing in this league. Although he only trained for 2 weeks, he has so many games under his belt that he is probably more able to be ready for 60. But I was positively surprised how fit he was. I wasn't surprised by his quality because that's what we all know. You don't have to be a manager to recognize how much quality he has. But it's always nice to see if a player starts the way he starts, like Hugo Ekitike, who started the same as he did. Yeah, a good start, only 60 minutes and now we have to build him up from here. But I can tell you he is not going to play 90 again on Saturday." Liverpool boss Arne Slot, surprised at Alexander Isak after Swedish striker finally makes Reds' debut following deadline day switch from Newcastle. Liverpool's record-signing Alexander Isak finally pulled on the Reds' shirt for the first time, featuring in Wednesday night's thrilling 3-2 Champions League win over Atletico Madrid. The £125 million striker lasted just under an hour at Anfield, but his display left Arne Slot both encouraged and slightly taken aback by the Swede's sharpness so soon after joining from Newcastle. Isak's Anfield debut on an ecstatic night. Isak started up front in Liverpool's Champions League opener and played 58 minutes before being replaced by Hugo Ekitike. The 25-year-old striker linked up well with fellow new boy Florian Wirtz, showing flashes of his quality despite his lack of pre-season minutes. Liverpool eventually sealed the win late on through captain Virgil van Dijk, who scored a dramatic stoppage-time header. Slot surprised by Isak's fitness despite lack of pre-season. I was positively surprised by how fit Alexander was during the 60 minutes, Slot told TNT Sports. That maybe tells you that it might be different to sign a 20-year-old from a different league than a 25-year-old used to playing in this league. Although he only trained for 2 weeks, he has so many games under his belt in this league. I wasn't surprised about his quality, as we all know that. It's always nice to see if a player starts the way he started. Dijk started the same way. It was a good start, only 60 minutes, and now we have to build him up from here. He's not going to play 90 against Everton. One of the things you need if you want to compete for the Premier League and the Cups is mentality and fitness and quality, and today we saw that. Liverpool build their squad with Isak as headliner. Liverpool smashed the British transfer record to bring Isak in on deadline day, making him the focal point of their attack alongside Dijk. Slot believes his Premier League experience will ease the transition, but he remains cautious about overloading him so soon. The Dutch coach stressed that rotation will be vital, with Liverpool juggling title ambitions and the demands of European football. Isak could start against Everton, but 90 minutes unlikely. Liverpool face Everton in the Merseyside derby at Anfield this weekend, where Slot has confirmed Isak will not play the full 90 minutes. The Swede will continue to build fitness as the Reds look to integrate him gradually into their front line. With 2 elite strikers now at his disposal, Slot is keen to strike the right balance as Liverpool chase silverware on multiple fronts. Arne Slot responds to Mark Guehi transfer reaction after failed Liverpool move. The latest Liverpool transfer news, as the Reds boss has again addressed the situation around the collapsed deadline day move for Mark Guehi. Mark Guehi has been in action for Crystal Palace this week. Liverpool boss Arne Slot has opened up about the disappointment of not completing a deadline day move for Mark Guehi. The Crystal Palace defender was close to joining the Reds before the Eagles pulled the plug on a deal at the last minute. The club decided not to sell after failing to bring in a replacement in the final hours of the transfer window. It means that Guehi will stay at Selhurst Park until at least January. Just days after the failed move, Guehi was in action for England. He started both World Cup qualifiers against Andorra and Serbia during the international break. He has also been back in action for Palace. The defender wore the captain's armband in the Premier League clash against Sunderland on Saturday afternoon and in Tuesday night's Carabao Cup clash against Millwall. Slot has again addressed the situation surrounding Guehi. He has outlined how he believes both the player and Palace would have responded. For us it was of course a disappointment, for the player I assume, as well, because he was expecting to come to us, he told Sky Sports. I try to put myself in the player's shoes, but that can happen with a player from us as well. Maybe a player wanted to leave, but in the end couldn't because we couldn't get a player we wanted. That happens in football many times, and the good thing in football is, especially after the international break, everybody comes back, accepts the situation and knows he has to perform well. But if a player wants a transfer that he doesn't get, then you always feel for him. If it's a player of my team, you talk to him, make sure he gets his energy back and keeps going again, and that is probably what has happened at Palace with Mark Guehi. Virgil van Dijk sends one-word message in response to Liverpool concern after Atletico drama. Liverpool needed captain Virgil van Dijk to rescue all 3 points against Atletico Madrid in the first Champions League clash of the season. Virgil van Dijk has played down Liverpool's shaky start to the season in defense after again letting a 2-goal lead slip. Virgil van Dijk has issued a defiant response to Liverpool's defensive concerns after they let a 2-goal lead slip for the 3rd time this season. Arne Slot's side flew into an early lead against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, but were pegged back late on and needed a stoppage-time Virgil van Dijk header to claim all 3 points. Andy Robertson and Mohamed Salah were the scorers for Liverpool in the opening 45 minutes at Anfield. But Marcos Llorente likely made it a different halftime team talk for Slot as he pulled one back for the visitors just before the interval. The 30-year-old, who scored a stunning brace to knock Liverpool out of Europe 5 years ago, repeated that trick with 9 minutes of normal time to play as his half volley took a wicked deflection and flew past Alisson. For the 3rd time already this season, following fightbacks in the Premier League from Newcastle United and Bournemouth, Liverpool had surrendered a big advantage. In both of those fixtures, Liverpool did win it late on, and that was the case again on Wednesday evening. A perfect Dominic Szoboszlai corner found the head of Van Dijk, and the Liverpool captain promptly guided an effort into the corner. Chaotic scenes followed the goal, with Atletico boss Diego Simeone captured, arguing with Liverpool supporters, which saw him shown a straight red card. Once tensions eased, Van Dijk was interviewed on the pitch by TNT Sports, where he firmly played down concerns over any defensive issues despite 8 goals being conceded from their first 6 competitive matches. "Yeah, for sure it was a relief," he said. "We kept pushing to try and make it 3-1, and obviously to concede an equalizer from a massive deflection was not great, but we found a way again. We were pretty dangerous from set pieces and they were pretty aggressive, but glad I got the winner. I wouldn't say the game ran away from us. I mentioned it yesterday that they are a team that never gives up. They have quality players that can punish you if you're not there in a split second." After the break we tried to make it 3-1 and they get some confidence, but eventually we showed that resilience we have been showing for so many years, and it was another great European night. No concerns about how we started the season defensively. Liverpool had kept 2 consecutive clean sheets prior to this 3-2 victory, but it is clear to see that there are some defensive worries, even if Van Dijk is adamant that is not the case. Van Dijk's late header hands Liverpool dramatic win over Atletico. Liverpool raced into an early 2-goal lead inside 6 minutes through Andy Robertson and Mohamed Salah. Marcos Llorente hit back with a brace to bring Atletico Madrid level, seemingly setting up a hard-fought draw at Anfield. Yet with seconds remaining, Virgil van Dijk rose highest to head home the winner, sparking jubilation among the home supporters. Liverpool to make serious moves for Carlos Baleba as Michael Ollis price set. It's claimed Liverpool is preparing a January bid for Brighton midfielder Carlos Baleba, who was a target for Manchester United during the recent summer transfer window. Carlos Baleba is being linked with Liverpool. Liverpool has enjoyed a near-perfect start to the season under Arne Slot's leadership. The Reds are already shaping up as strong contenders to regain the Premier League title. Slot's players currently top the table, having clinched victories in all their opening 4 matches of the season. Mohamed Salah's last-gasp penalty secured them a narrow win over Burnley in their latest match. Despite the current season being in its early stages and the transfer window having long since shut, Liverpool may already be looking at January. It appears that the Reds have several targets earmarked for the winter window. Carlos Baleba and Michael Ollis have both been associated with potential transfers to Anfield in recent days. With this in mind, let's delve into some of the standout rumors circulating around Anfield. Carlos Baleba, Brighton. Liverpool is gearing up to place a bid for Brighton star and Manchester United target Carlos Baleba. The midfielder was a significant interest for the Red Devils during the summer window. However, United withdrew from a deal after learning of his substantial price tag. Brighton boss Fabian Herzler will not want to lose Baleba. It now seems that Liverpool is among the contenders vying for his signature. According to Indy Kyla, Liverpool is making serious moves for Baleba in the January window, marking it as a potential deal to keep an eye on. Brighton's manager, Fabian Herzler, recently spoke candidly about the future of young starlet Baleba, acknowledging the hurdles he faces. He said, "I think it's normal for a young player when the media creates the noise around him. It's not easy for this player to handle it. Therefore, we need to give him the time and support so he comes back to his best performance. But he's a young player, and I think that's something we have to accept, that young players don't always have the face we want to see. It's our responsibility to help them in the right moments." I think everyone gets affected, especially when you are that young and you hear these kinds of things, no matter if they are wrong or right. But it's just noise we don't need. Michael Ollis, Bayern Munich. In other transfer chatter, Liverpool could be facing a hefty bill to secure Bayern Munich's Michael Ollis, with rumors suggesting a figure north of £100 million, $136.5 million, is being demanded by the German team. Football Insider reports that the Reds are among several clubs eyeing the Frenchman as a potential successor to Mohamed Salah at Anfield. However, luring him away from Bayern won't be a bargain, as he is valued well above £100 million and still has nearly 4 years left on his contract.